I'm going to be talking to you today about some ways to maintain your physical health and your mental health while you work as an interpreter, sign language or oral. One of the first things that I encourage you to do as you work as an interpreter, and I just reminded you of that, is to breathe. Be certain that you breathe. Sometimes you're going to get into situations that are a little nerve-wracking and you're going to forget to breathe. I certainly have. And you know, your brain needs oxygen, and the way it gets oxygen is you breathe and then it gets in your bloodstream and then it goes to your head and then your brain can do what it is supposed to do. And as I just mentioned in this class, interpreting is a brain thing more than a hand thing or a mouth thing. So breathe. The other thing that I encourage you to do regarding your physical health is to drink lots of water and remain hydrated. That's going to do a couple of things for you. If you breathe but don't have any fluid in your body, you're stuck. And so as you are hydrated, you're going to let your muscles work better, your brain is going to work better, and overall you're going to be better. Your mouth won't get as dry while you're doing this particular task of oral transliterating if you remain hydrated. I encourage you to also eat well. Now, I know that I'm speaking to college students, and having raised a couple of college students, I know that healthy diet is something that is equivalent to having money to buy this food, but I do encourage you to stay as healthy as you can, because interpreting, whatever the form, is physically taxing. Another thing that I encourage you to do to keep your physical health in shape is to warm up before you begin interpreting. You see all of these interpreters going around with splints and braces and all these things on their arms. It's because of carpal tunnel, repetitive motion syndrome, thoracic outlet syndrome. It's just the abuse of muscles and ligaments and tendons that you do by working them when they aren't warmed up and ready to work. It's also caused by working too long at a particular job. And now that you're sitting here doing oral transliterating, you can see how you could get some strain in your neck as well. So warm up, do some stretches, make sure that your muscles are warm and limber before you begin to work. Another piece of advice I'll give you relates more to mental health. For many years, we thought that as interpreters, we take the information in, we put it out, and no matter how bad it is, none of it stays with us. It just all goes away and we forget it. And then we found that some of our best and brightest went crazy and had some serious mental health issues, because it does impact on our health, our mental health. When we go to we are the vehicle through which someone gets fired. We deliver the message that someone has an inoperable tumor and has 6 weeks to live. We interpret between hearing parents and deaf children, and the hearing parents say, "Oh, I had no idea you thought this," and the hearing parents just had not bothered to learn to communicate with their child. Some of that stays with us and hurts. And so we need to be aware that we've got to have some way to unload this stuff. We need to unload it to a friend. I'm not talking about violating the code of ethics here. I'm talking about having someone with whom you can share your feelings. Anne and I have done this with each other over the years. If I have had a particularly difficult job, or she has, we've just talked about how we felt. I've had other team interpreters with whom I've worked, and on the break, I've just said, "Oh, I felt like I've been a part of something horrible," or "Wow, that was great." But just to be able to get that emotion out so that I can be an empty conduit then again to get the message flowing. Another way to protect yourself and to keep yourself mentally healthy is to give yourself a break and realize that perfection is something that you're not going to achieve in this. We are interpreting. We're not the source of the message. And so whatever the message is going to come through us and who we are and what we're made of and go out. And then it's going to go into somebody and who they are and what they're made of and what their experiences have been. So we're not going to be perfect in this. I'm not saying be lazy and just give up and throw up your hands, but be easier on yourself than some of us have been on ourselves and on colleagues in previous years. You're going to do an awfully good job, but it just isn't going to be perfect. And so learn from your mistakes, but don't dwell on them. And ease up on yourself just a little bit as you're out there working. Another thing that will keep you relatively sane is the amount of homework and preparation that you do before you go interpret. The more confident you can feel in yourself that you do have the skills and the knowledge and the experience necessary to do this particular task, the less likely you are to mess up, the less likely you are to have the committee that sits on your shoulder say nasty, ugly things to you. The more gentle you're likely to be with yourself and with your team members, and therefore you're going to be a better interpreter because you have the confidence, and the deaf person can then look at you and say, oh, okay, I know I'm getting the information that I need because this person is approaching this task prepared and ready to go. Those are my suggestions for how to stay healthy. Thank you.